like they're kooky, but serious and spooky. They're all together ooky, the Addams Family.
Okay, well, welcome to another edition of Neighborhood Training. I know it's been a couple of months since we last did one of these training sessions. We took a little break to do the brush training and the SCBA training. I hope that you got a lot out of that. If you didn't, or if you didn't get the training, see your duty officer and they'll make some time to make sure you get that. This week we're going to be concentrating on the Geoletta Drive, Caravel Drive neighborhood of Falmouth, out in North Falmouth, Hatchville area. Over the years I've heard from many people in the department and from my own experience that this neighborhood or this area can be confusing. Part of the reason for it being confusing in past years was there were no road signs in the area. I think that that's been fixed since then, but I'm not 100% sure. But as you can imagine, this area was pretty confusing on its own without having street signs or anything. But I think they've made those improvements. The other improvement that's been made out here in the last 10 years is the addition of municipal water supply. They now have hydrants spaced every 500 feet. Thanks in part to Captain White, who lives up in this neighborhood. I remember him going to town meeting and fighting for to get them to get water out there, but also because of the pollution from Otis polluted all their wells. So, but that being said, this area here, like I say, I found confusing, and I've heard from other people that as well. I'll just go over a couple of things here first. This is the Geoletta Drive neighborhood. I don't really know what if they have an official name or anything, but we'll call it that. And there is home to about 300 to 500 folks in the area. There's somewhere in the range of between 120 to 150-ish houses there, depending on whether you count the neighborhoods in Boxbury Hill and Sam Turner area. The main roads in the area are Geoletta Drive, which is the main road coming in off of Boxbury, Caravel Drive coming in off of Sam Turner, Brigantine, which is what I've termed to be a mid-development crossover. The side roads in the development are Sloop, Bark, and Cutter, and it also connects to another neighborhood of the Pondview area, Pondview Drive, Pondview Circle, and Highland Circle. Those areas will show do have a connector point in them. So as you see here, the numbers for Geoletta start in off of Boxbury, and the numbers for Caravel start at Sam Turner and end at Brigantine. And Brigantine's numbers start on the northern end where it connects with Cutter, and then increases as you go southerly. Pondview Drive, the numbers start in off of Sam Turner. So just something to keep in mind. If you're thinking of the numbers, we don't expect everybody to know where all the numbers are, but you should, over a period of time of being in here, you may gain and remember that the numbers are going to start and end there, and it's important to know that. I'll switch over quickly to the Google map again. Oops, we're in the wrong neighborhood there. We'll swing over here. Let me just adjust my map here a second. There, we'll put back in my little cheat notes on the side here and swing back over. So there's the neighborhood right there, and as you can see, there is it's all single-family dwellings, as we'll look through. All single-family dwellings, all wood frame dwellings, all ranches and capes. There are a couple of exceptions in there, but by and large they're all ranches and capes. They are also single-family homes. I didn't see too many places that had accessory apartments. I didn't see too many places that had businesses attached to them or anything else like we saw in the Corbin Landing development. I mean, there's obviously some folks that work in there that got, you know, work trucks and so forth, but not that many, not too many large home businesses anyway. We'll just zoom in quickly here and take a look and see. We'll concentrate on this here for a second. Okay. All right, I just want to look at the top part of the development first and show you a couple of things. I'll just pan out a little bit. There we go. Okay. I want to show you first where these numbers come in. Number 12, Geoletta, is right up there coming in off of Boxbury Hill. And then number 81 is down here on the corner. And then number 196 is way over here in the little cul-de-sac area. And later on I'll show you a couple of houses. Like I said, most of the development is capes and ranches. This 196 is it's a modern Victorian style house that's kind of tucked in the woods here. And also this house here is a ranch style house, but it also has a metal roof to it. So just something to be aware of. And we'll look at this section here. I want to note while we're there, see if we can see the whole of Brigantine Drive here. I want to show you. Okay, let's take a look at Caravel first. Caravel coming in off of Sam Turner over here, and then runs from 18, and the last house being 86 down at the M. And while we're right there, we'll look at Brigantine, number 20 Brigantine. It starts, this is a little tricky area as you come in off of Geoletta. First left is Cutter, but Cutter turns right into Brigantine, right on this corner. So it's something to be aware of as we're working our way through. It'll change. And then Brigantine runs all the way down, and 120 is down in the bottom where it connects with Bark. And this is Bark Drive here. Google didn't fill in the road here, but this is Bark Drive and Cutter. So just retrace what we're doing here. Geoletta is the main road coming off of Boxbury. Comes this whole section down here is Geoletta. This whole section here is Geoletta as we run down in here. Caravel coming off Sam Turner comes right through. You come up this intersection here, and that's the intersection of Caravel, Geoletta, and Caravel goes down to the end to Brigantine. And then Brigantine sweeps all the way through the middle of development. The only tricky part is this jog right in the middle here, which you would almost think to be a separate road when you come upon it, but it's not. It's the same. It's just Brigantine takes like 100 feet and turns down. Over here, I don't think they're going to highlight it, but this is Sloop Drive over here, right in the corner here. There's probably like one house on it, and we'll just sweep through. And then Bark Drive is the end. So just a way to remember Geoletta. I don't know where they got that name from, but probably the name of the people that developed it, who knows. But that Geoletta and Caravel. And the rest of them are names of a type of ship: cutter, bark, brigantine, sloop. So I don't, it's just a way to remember them. I don't think there's any mnemonic that we have to go through, although, C for cutter is first, and then B, there doesn't seem to be any sense to it anyway. But I wanted to look in this section right in here, because this is the area that connects the two neighborhoods together. And for years this section here was dirt, and I don't know, over the past 10, 15 years, 20 years probably, I don't know, doesn't matter, ancient history, they paved it up. It's a wide parking area, and there's also a pathway that goes down to a beach over here. I don't think it's a town of Falmouth beach, it's probably just a neighborhood beach, but it is a little swimming hole. It's an area, the access is not that great. It's a little footpath. You could probably get the Zodiac down in there if we needed to access Deep Pond, which is this little pond over here is Deep Pond. So just something to keep in mind that. And then we come into the Pondview neighborhood here, and we have Pondview Drive comes in off of Sam Turner. Just zoom in a little bit to the beginning of it here. No, okay. Pondview Drive. And then there's Pondview Circle is over here. These houses are all on the pond, and then Highland Circle up in here. And we did, quite a few years ago, I mean, it's probably 10 plus years, we did have an arson fire up here. It started in a basement apartment. Beyond that, I don't know. We've had a significant amount of medical calls up here, but I don't recall any significant fire. We've been up here for still alarms and so forth. Just a couple things while we're on the Google map here. Look up in the top. I'm sure you're all familiar with it, but this is the Heritage Christian Life Center. It's a 1-1 box. It's a 1-1 box because there is a Christian, I believe it's elementary level school in the building. So we make it a 1-1 box, but there is a sign, over in here for it. The other thing I want to mention while we're looking at this is this section right there. This section right in here is a false road. It'll show up on a lot of maps that we have. It'll probably show up on our dispatch maps. Don't give directions to go in off of this road here. They'll probably say it's Brigantine on a map or something. It's not. It doesn't exist. It's been used over time as utilities easement. I believe they use it to get water in the development, but don't be fooled by it. It's not on the maps. A couple of other things while we're right here. Noticing that little pond, I don't know if it has a name or anything, but there is a wetland or pond right behind some of these houses here. Good to know. Who knows if someone goes ice skating on it, or there's a swimming hole or fishing or whatever, and someone does have an emergency there. We know where it is. While we're looking here real quick, this will be for another day to get into some of these Hatchville roads, but it is good to know too that these houses here in Geoletta and Galleon Drive back up to some of these houses here on Raspberry Path. It's a private dwelling way up in the back in the woods here, and then this area over here is Wellington Way, and there's a house and a barn and so forth. Where is it? It's back in here anyway. Here it is, right up in here. And of course Brady Drive is back in here. But my point is that these houses here on Raspberry Path are very isolated. We did have a fire in one of these houses here, and a matter of fact, Ronnie Lynn's will probably tell you, a few of us, Ronnie Lynn's got hurt with a falling support member from the house. So he'll probably be able to tell you a story about that. But my point is, when these folks here, they could look through their house sometime, or through their rear windows, and see a house on fire here in the middle of the woods. If that's what they're talking about, if they're saying, oh, I'm on Galleon, or I'm on the end of Geoletta and I'm seeing fire through the woods in the back of my house, then this is what we should be thinking of. Raspberry Path, Wellington Way, that's the type of stuff where we should be thinking of anyway. Okay. I just want to briefly look at this map here, if it'll load quickly. This is just showing that we have hydrants throughout the area, and that there is the development there is fully developed, and it does show the house numbers as they run down this. This is the map that we use for the GIS. It's a little different format, but you'll see on this particular one, it does not show the connector road between Pondview and Geoletta. So the dispatchers are going to remember this local knowledge, that even though your map doesn't show it, there is a connection road down through here in the obviously the firefighters that are on the responding apparatus, in that area in North Falmouth and East Falmouth should know that. Here's the areas, here's Raspberry Path. And it doesn't show the Wellington Way, but Wellington Way runs right up the side of it. So it's one of these houses up in here. Alright, that's basically all we wanted to show on that map. One other one real quick that I wanted to show is this one here. I know it looks kind of, you're going, what the heck kind of a map is that? But what this is a topo map of the area, and not that important, but it is something to keep in mind. Different sections of town have different topography than other parts of town, and I talked about in the Shumet and all over in that area, the Duran Drive area was relatively flat. As we start moving west, we start moving towards the moraine, and we get a lot more. The topography becomes a factor in not only in brush fires but in house fires. If people are building a house on a lot that has a sloping lot to it, configuration, topography, then we have to be concerned is how we're going to access that. How we're going to access it with ground ladders to some of the bedroom windows or the roofs. If we have to go around the Charlie side of the building, or just whatever the other factor is. So just the other local knowledge that we have, and you'll see right in the middle of this development here between Galleon and Brigantine, there is a significant area here that does have a depression right down, running down the center of it. Here is Galleon Drive here, and here is Brigantine, and right in these backyards is the whole length of it is significantly depressed. So you're probably going to have houses built in there that are going to have 3 stories in the rear of the building. So in order to access the roof or access even a second floor window, you're going to need a 35 or 28 foot ladder to get up there. Here's showing that little pond. The other thing that's kind of a minor factor, but there's something to keep in mind, is in this upper portion here off of Boxbury Hill and Cutter. The rear here actually goes up behind these houses on Cutter. So up here on Boxbury, it actually goes down pretty significantly, because those topo lines are pretty tight together, as they are as well over in here. over on Sam Turner. And that's about it. I'll talk too much on that. Let's see what else. Oh, I just want to show the picture of a couple of houses that are there. This is just a typical Cape, example of a house that's in that neighborhood. As I mentioned before, Capes and ranchers predominantly. This other house here is the Victorian that I was talking to you about at the end of Geoletta. I did get a picture of the other house with the metal roof, but I can't seem to find it. But anyway, take my word for it. It's out there. Drive around, you'll see it. So if it's smoke filled and you go up there to cut the roof with the cutter's edge and it ends up being metal, or you're putting a roof ladder or you're standing on it, you'll find out pretty quick. But here is our a modern Victorian that we're talking about, and there's a Cape. All right, we'll just quickly review what our roads here quick. Geoletta, main road of Boxbury, Caravel, Brigantine, all those ship names going down. And we have the points to ponder, the jog and Brigantine, the connector over to Pondview. The maps show that Falls Road extension of Brigantine. I want to look here and show that fire's response 23, 25, 24, and 26, and the rescue district of Station 3. Now here's the other thing that we keep in mind when I talked about Shumat Valley and Durand Drive. I talked about those being one of the farthest distances from any of the stations. Obviously we're moving westerly down 151. We're getting closer to Station 3. Station 3 is only 2.5 miles from the middle of Caravel Drive. I took a house just in the middle of the development there, and it shows 2.5 miles. So we should be able to get there within 6 minutes, whether it be a rescue or a fire. But this is where time is always important. Station 4 and 5, it shows there 4.8 miles, and if you kind of think about how those stations have to travel there, 5 has to go through a lot of back roads to get there. John Parker, Sam Turner, all the way up that way. They're not going to be going 60 miles an hour. They're probably going 30, 35, maybe 40 at the tops. So you're talking about a good 10 minutes. The same thing with Station 4. Whether they're going to go up the Highway 151 or whether they're going to go to Thomas Landers and Geoletta and back up that way, it's still a significant amount of time. Station 1 is 9 miles away. I think probably that 15-minute range is probably, by the time of dispatch and the time they actually get up there, is pretty reasonable. But I guess the other point is that Station 3, I know everybody that's assigned up there realizes that Station 3 is pretty independent from the rest of the department because they're farthest away up there, and it's going to be a good 4 minutes or more before the second engine comes, and a good almost 10 minutes after their arrival before the ladder arrives. So or 28 arrives. So you're going to be, I know that the chief and the deputies expect that the Station 3 crews be on the ball to another level, because they're going to have to be making some decisions and going to have to communicate what their issue is up there and let everybody know what their actions are, and also as far as accountability, and have accountability for your off-duty guys before any of the officers show up. So you gotta be a heads up. All right, so there's the hazards. Single-family dwellings, capes and ranches. Probably, I think the smallest is 800, largest probably 1,500 square feet. So typical bread and butter for us that we know. The Heritage Christian Life Center, I don't know the status on the road signs that cut through to the Pondview area, the beach area, the deep pond, and the hydrants are 500 feet apart approximately, and we do have all the hydrants in that area. So I'll just leave you with that, and thank you all again for paying attention to, and hope that we all grab something out of this session here today. As we go through next week, we'll be heading into the Lockstead development. That'll be pretty easy. We'll head over to Ballymead after that and try to make some sense out of that. So we got a lot of work to cover, but I hope you got something out of this, and we'll catch up with you next time. In the meantime, be safe,